Hello everyone, Tammy here. Welcome to my bookshelf. I am sharing a little mini book haul with you today. Now I want to say I did do a video not too long ago where I talked about reading what you own. There is a big push right now on booktube for us to read what we own. And I said I was going to do it, but I kind of chickened out because there's books I wanted, so I bought them. I will say though, I did cancel 2 book clubs I was a member of. In fact, I'm not part of any book clubs anymore. I really decided I want to pick out the books I want to read. I watch booktube for suggestions. I'm on Goodreads and I get suggestions, and of course I have bookish people I talk to. So I really don't need a third party sending me books that I may or may not like. So I think that was one good thing that came out of the read what you own movement that's going on right now. Now I will say I do know that a lot of booktubers are still keeping their subscriptions, okay? And it wasn't required that you cancel your book subscriptions. Many people, because they had already paid for them and everything, are still letting them go. And that's fine if you want to do that. But I kind of took it as a chance for me to really rethink my books, my book subscriptions. And I realized when I started to look at what I had gotten from them, really only a few of the titles I could say I really enjoyed, and the other ones were just kind of sitting there because they weren't speaking to me. So I'm picking my own books now. That said, I was watching Heather's Heroes and Heroines, and she talked about this book, okay? The Rule of Three. It's a young adult novel. It is by Eric Walters, okay? I don't typically read young adult books, but I wanted something a little different than the women's fiction that I've been reading. And she talked about this book. It sounded interesting. It's basically, the premise is a high school guy finds out that the world is coming to an end, so to speak. There's an Armageddon going on, and his neighborhood bands together while the world's going crazy around them. So I thought this would be something very different but still appealing to me. I'm always down for a good dystopian story. So I think I'm going to be picking this up very soon because I just finished one of Colleen Hoover's books last night. So I think this is something I'm going to pick up tonight. So of course I was on Amazon, and it was like, don't you remember this book? You said you wanted this book. Why don't you buy this book, right? And it was, I got them used. In fact, you could see both of these are used books. And so I went ahead and picked this up. I actually read Ingleth Cooper not too long ago. The title of that book was That Month in Tuscany, and I really, really enjoyed it. I've done a video of it already on here if you want to look it up for my book review section. And this is That Birthday in Barbados. Very similar, a 40-something-year-old who's gone through a divorce. Now she's trying to find herself on her birthday in Barbados. And of course, you know she's going to find love and all that good stuff. So this looks like just a fun, escapist, quick read that I'm looking forward to, that hopefully won't have super heavy drama. I will say I do enjoy, I'm definitely become a Colleen Hoover fan, but her books sometimes, for me, are a bit overly emotional. And so I need something to come down off of that a little bit, and I think this will be a good pick for that. Speaking of Colleen Hoover, I went to my favorite bookstore, Hello Again Books in Cocoa Village, Florida, and I picked up a couple of titles of hers. In fact, it was funny. That bookstore is a new and used bookstore, both. So I brought some books to donate, and then of course, you know, silly me said, "Do you have any used Colleen Hoover books?" And the woman just kind of laughed. Ha 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 ha. No. She says those go within minutes. We do have this though, boom. And she showed me a shelf full of Colleen Hoover. And so I picked up a couple things on there. They were on my list of wanting to read. So I picked up this one, Verity. This has been actually recommended to me by a couple of people. And it is the story about an author who is kind of a struggling author, so to speak, and she ends up being hired by the husband of a successful author who is now sick to finish some of her books. And of course, as she does this, she starts to find some secrets and that kind of thing. So yeah, this is something that I think is going to be very, very interesting. Definitely up my alley for sure. And then I also picked up this one. It was also on my want list. Layla, Colleen Hoover again. When Leeds meets Layla, he's convinced he'll spend the rest of his life with her until an unexpected attack leaves Layla fighting for her life. After weeks in the hospital, Layla recovers physically, but the emotional and mental scarring has altered the woman Leeds fell in love with. In order to put the relationship back on track, Leeds whisks Layla away to the bed and breakfast where they first met. Once they arrive, Layla's behavior takes a bizarre turn, and that's just one of many inexplicable occurrences. So this sounds really interesting. Yeah, again, it's sort of a, it's got a romantic bent to it, but it's not necessarily a full-on romance from what I understand of that, this book description there. So yes, I picked up 2 titles, new books, of course, but that's okay, by Colleen Hoover. So while I was picking out books, I also picked up a couple of these little page flags. I love these things. This is Pride and Prejudice. I got 2 because I'm going to gift these to some friends of mine. I have somebody right now that's helping me. Actually, she's a co-editor. She doesn't watch my channel, so I can tell her. She's too busy working on our book. So she and I are working on a Jane Austen book. I'm going to send her one of these, pop these in the inner office mail, and surprise her. And the other one I have earmarked for somebody else. So these are little gifties I picked up there. And then finally, I picked up one other title there. I've been looking for it for a while at this particular bookstore. And, I want to support the bookstore, right? I want this place to, I want to be a good customer and let them stick around for a while. And I found this one. This one has been, they've had it in a few times, but it keeps selling out, they said. So I got the last copy that they had. Obviously, they'll probably get some more of this. This is The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. It is written by Kim Michelle Richardson. All right, so, and this is about a young woman who is part of the 1930s push for literacy in the Appalachians when President Roosevelt had a program where women would go out as sort of traveling librarians. Love the idea of this. I'm really hoping I like the book. I've heard some mixed signals. Some people said they really like it. Some people were like they couldn't get into it. So we'll see. I'm very hopeful. This again looks like something as a book lover, ex-part-time librarian, English teacher, etc., etc. That is definitely, I think I'm going to like it. All right, so that's my book haul. It's not a ton, but and I did get rid of a few titles. I actually dropped off 4 books. So I picked up 3 books from the bookstore, ordered 2 used books, but I got rid of 4. So I feel good about that. All right. Let me know in the comments below if you're familiar with any of the titles I mentioned. Obviously, don't give me any spoilers, but if you've read them, I'd like to hear what you have to say about them. Did you enjoy them or not? And are you part of the movement now as far as read what you own? If so, how's that going? Are you doing okay with that? All right, as usual, please give this a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for stopping by to see what's on my bookshelf. Bye-bye.